Hello and welcome to this extra bespectacled version of the Special Moves podcast. This is episode 39.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you won't be able to see the specs if you're
Part
if
of
you're
the
just
audio
listening.
master race.
Yeah,
You got that in early.
the enlightened.
The shout out to the audio listeners already.
How's it going? That's the voice of Jake Kukowski. I'm also sitting next to Lee McKelvey.
Hi.
And I'm
This
Mike.
is the audio descriptive E3 spectacular.
Yeah. The three gentlemen sitting down on some big grey sofas. So yeah, we're sort of looking back at like E3 stuff and that, I guess, in this podcast. Jake chucked the question out there on Twitter and asked a bunch of you what you wanted us to talk about, because obviously E3 has happened in the last week and there's loads and loads of like new game announcements, gameplay reveals, all that stuff. So yeah, there's I mean, we've been chatting a lot about it, I guess, like in the WhatsApp and that, haven't we? Just about like
As it was happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But you get to a point where it's just so much stuff to get through that the best way is to just take some requests.
And
I
if
guess.
Mike, God bless him, is at work, and
That's me.
That's him fucked. Because like we must send about 60 messages
A second.
an hour. A second, yeah. So if Mike is away for an hour, like the Pokemon Direct, because me and Liam were like live. Messaging each other, you come back to 84 notifications. You've only been on 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and so I
I
finished work at 5. I stay by and do some stuff for like 10, 15 minutes, drive home, and then by the time I'm home, fucking Pokemon Direct's finished, isn't it? So so that's that. So yeah, I mean we had a lot of emails. Thank you everyone who sent in emails over the last week as well, because last week we mentioned that we were a bit dry. For that one, by the way, you usually are really good. Like we usually have a good batch of emails every week.
Just a dry spell.
Just for some reason, last week we just didn't have that much, right? And lo and behold, we mentioned that we were just a little bit of a dry spell.
And now we're fully quenched.
And there's like about 70,000 emails in there. So
it's monsoon season,
yeah.
baby.
So thank you, genuinely, big thanks to everyone who sent in emails. It's really helpful.
We're looking forward to reading 2 of them later.
Yeah, exactly. We did well. They all get read. We all flick through them, but we got to try and be careful with the ones we pick out, I guess, because you want to make sure that there's enough time and all that.
Quite a lot of them were about Keanu Reeves. Quite a lot of video game stuff in general this week's been about fucking Keanu Reeves. I was shocked.
Fucking Keanu Reeves. Well, I guess in a sense, yes.
No, people are talking about fucking
philosophically.
Keanu Reeves. Like you got Triss Merigold and Yennefer in The Witcher 3. People are hoping for a Johnny Silverhand situation in Cyberpunk. So you can guess what's going on in the internet talking about that. I
feel like he's been besmirched somewhat, because I feel like Keanu Reeves is a holy figure. Very nice man.
He certainly is, yeah, and he's got a lot of respect, doesn't he, from people who like John Wick and people who like Bill and Ted.
And he's being kicked around. Oh, fucking Point Break as well, one of the best films of all time.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If we just start naming,
not even mentioning The Matrix.
We haven't even touched him being the fucking one. I was watching the Microsoft conference, which he appeared on, part of the Cyberpunk sort of presentation thing. Yeah. With Sean, and we both just went, "It's Keanu Reeves." That was it.
Perfect. The perfect response, I have to say.
Yeah,
that's exactly how you should react to.
Yeah, so I had it on like the telly, and it was just like, because he appeared in the game, and I said, because John Bernthal's in this new Ghost Recon, right?
It's a big thing.
And I was like, oh yeah, Keanu's in it, is he? Like cameo or something.
It's the age of the cameo.
And then he comes out, and we were like, and then lo and behold, this week has just been very like he's doing bloody BBC Newsbeat article, like interviews at E3, trying to and they're saying you've made video games very prestigious, and he's like, whoa, I didn't do anything, being the humble guy he is. But it's become very our emails I think kind of reflected that. I just had a quick scroll through, I saw Keanu in 3 titles. I mean, I once watched the YouTube video, and I've got to be 100% honest here. I don't watch an awful lot of YouTube these days for whatever reason. I do watch a little bit, but for some reason, some some sort of holy happening happened where I was where I was sat at home, like Laura was out. It's like quiet. It's like, fuck, I don't know what to watch. Like I didn't quite down the YouTube rabbit hole.
Just popped up YouTube. I went, I'll check out what's going on YouTube innit. And there was a video, Keanu Reeves just talking about his motorbikes for like 15 minutes, and it was the happiest I've been in years. It was amazing. Yeah. And he's a very like charismatic guy in a kind of weird way. I think
if he's passionate about it, he buzzes off it. Yeah.
So I get it. I get the fact that the internet was like melting down, but I think I hate to make broad generalizations, but here's one: if in Britain, like we're going, oh, it's Keanu Reeves, right?
They're still clapping now in America.
Exactly, mate.
Yeah.
Exactly, mate.
Exactly,
the
yeah.
party has only just begun in America.
Which is something that happened a lot through E3 this year. No one would shut the fuck up for a second.
Yeah, in the crowd.
Actually,
The crowd,
yeah, that's fucking. What
And
a segue.
Keanu was like the kicking off point for that.
Yeah, well, actually, I can't help but notice.
What was the
that
quote?
It was,
You're
breathtaking.
breathtaking.
Right,
And then he
which
said,
is a fair assessment.
yeah.
But
But then Keanu kind of, as I'd say on Twitter, clapped back, but positively. I don't know what a positive clap is. You're breathtaking. And then it was like Twitter news that Cyberpunk Collector's Edition was given to that heckler.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
then I can't
Well,
help but
he
think...
went back and refused it, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he told them to make a donation to a charity instead.
Oh,
I think is
big
what he
man.
did. 'Cause he's
Too good to receive a
he's
gift,
Twi-
is he?
It turns
That's
out
so
he's
annoying.
a Twitch streamer, and he's got like
I don't give a
he's got thousands
fuck.
of followers. So
Do you
he
know
does
what?
all
Yeah,
right
that's
for
like
himself.
them people that make a funny tweet, yeah, and it goes viral, and then what they go, oh, whilst I've got your attention,
Yeah.
and then they try and make it a learning point. Like it starts off as a SoundCloud joke, but now it's like donate to charity.
Yeah.
Mate, you've just made a joke. I don't want to be educated.
if he was a
Fuck.
YouTuber rather than a streamer, there would be about 10 videos of him going,
Why I
you guys,
refused.
you
What, yeah.
guys, I've got to be honest with you guys.
He'd
There's
be
just this
milking
little...
the thumbnails for weeks.
Exactly.
Why I told CD Projekt no and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The
but
day
yeah.
I refused Keanu Reeves and stuff. So he'd have that same story, but
Yeah.
he'd just come back to it every couple of months whenever he was having a bit of a sag.
Yeah,
in the
much,
viewers.
much like when I very generously. Yeah, I love that Liam comes in with like extra truth and trivia.
It's only because I was scrolling through Twitter.
Yeah,
the other
you
day.
know it's
What
just
the
good.
fuck do you expect by now, mate?
No, you always just said it. We just riffed off it
Boom.
like that. Yeah. But I've got to say that after I noticed that, there was more of some sort of conscious effort to heckle.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Bethesda's one, apparently it was all employees, because a journalist was sat a
Oh.
few rows behind, and the front row and a half or something was all Bethesda employees.
Well,
you know
I-
what? That's
and they
equally...
were the ones like clapping and
Well,
cheering.
I saw this because I saw a Bethesda YouTuber,
Yeah.
like one dedicated to like Fallout 76 and stuff,
Hmm.
was the heckler. But then I've heard what Liam's heard. Then I heard that it was paid, and then I've heard people like.
Yeah.
So I know a couple of people that went over to that were invited to the Bethesda conference, for
Yeah.
example. Like people from my company were there at the back in the cheap seats, obviously not at the front making all that noise. And Bethesda were very generous
Yeah.
in who they invited, but by the looks of it, they were cherry picking people who were interested already. And based on that I know as fact, I think. I believe that it could have just been a hyped up American fan.
Yeah.
I doubt they would have paid someone.
They're just so excited
Yeah,
to be there.
staff, like what Liam's saying, who wants to encourage their colleagues,
Yeah.
or a super fan, is really
But the
likely.
thing-
Paying is some stupid, cynical shit, in it.
The thing as well is that staff covers like so many different types of
yeah.
people. Like
That's
there's
what I mean,
volunteers and stuff who would be there just
Yeah,
helping out at the
exactly.
booths and that. So that's it's difficult to know exactly because it's basically just anecdotal, isn't it? But yeah, I guess I wouldn't be totally surprised if that was happening. So we have got a lot of great emails like on the topic of E3 and stuff.
Yeah.
This
I guess-
week. This is a great one from George Henderson from Preston, who's getting cynical in his old age.
Okay.
He says, last night I watched Microsoft and Bethesda's presentations at E3.
Ooh, stayed up late, did he? Big Preston boy.
indeed.
2 a.m. Bethesda started, you know.
I found the whole thing to be a little underwhelming. And I started thinking back to a time when I used to get really excited for new games to come out. I reminisced by re-watching the Gears of War Mad World trailer and that Halo 3 advert with all the little dioramas. I know exactly which one you mean.
I know,
Joe.
yeah.
They were such good quality, and I was on the ceiling with anticipation at the time, I guess. I'm not sure if the lineup of new games this year is garbage. I won't go that far. Or whether my more cynical, now 20-year-old brain has just switched...
Jesus
sorry,
Christ.
that was a serious misreading. 28-year-old brain, which is still not that old.
Yeah.
I'm 28.
I thought so, yeah.
Has just switched off to all the hype. Maybe a younger version of myself would have really liked it.
Okay.
Maybe I've just been disappointed a few times too many. I don't know. What do you think? That's George from Preston. Cheers, George.
Hurt in the past.
yeah.
George, mate.
So,
28 going on 50.
28-year-old cynical George. No. I think it's just probably a mix of stuff, right? Do you not think it's...
I've noticed there has been a general sentiment online that this E3 was a bit of a wash, which I don't really think it was.
I don't agree.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But the majority seem to say that the main thing I can see is that they've taken issue with there wasn't a lot of gameplay. There was a lot of CGI trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Elden Ring with CGI and all that. And
It's true,
It's,
you know.
but it's... I don't want to... this is exactly what I thought it would be. which when we did that E3 predictions video, this is genuinely what I thought it would be like. Not a we have to remember we did get a console announcement, like a new next gen console thing, which is huge. But what this is exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting not a shit one, but just like a slightly quieter in terms of gameplay and big reveals and stuff, because next year is going to be the next gen one. Like I'm fully confident of that after what Microsoft have done now, and I think the next year is going to be the big one, and that you will see like launch titles being out like alongside the games.
The console itself probably.
Exactly. You'll see a Sony announcement. You'll see Sony saying, "Oh, we're going back to fucking whatever that open world series is that they." Second Infamous, whatever. Do you know what I mean? They'll be like, there's an Infamous game.
Honestly didn't know which one you
there's a Killzone game.
I'd be quite happy with an Infamous game.
Of course you
It'll
would, man.
definitely be Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
It'll be all that stuff, and it'll be new IPs, and it'll be a lot of like, like 2-minute reveal trailers and shit.
I can't help but think
big IPs.
well, this is what it is. Like, nowadays I think what people are missing is that, and if you seriously think about this, I think you'll find it hard to disagree. E3 back then was the conferences and done, and then show floor stuff. But now, like, what I found is this weekend, I can look at a game, for example, Watchdogs Legion, right? It got announced, however, but then during the week, like the press that are there, IGN, GameSpot and all that, they're all there. They've all got their recording equipment there. Mm-hmm. They've got appointments throughout the week.
Yeah.
So, like, you are seeing stuff, but you have to just wait a week. So, for example, Animal Crossing, there was 15 minutes of Animal Crossing gameplay. Big announcement that people wanted to see more of. People were saying there's no gameplay. There is. It's just been revealed after. Yeah. They've stretched out. E3 starts a week before and ends a week after now.
Do you think they could do some like housekeeping stuff in? I guess it wouldn't be like a very like glamorous thing to put in a 30-minute conference. But if you just had like that's Animal Crossing. Keeping out for stuff like later in the week, keeping out for gameplay whatever.
A couple of people did, do that. Mm-hmm. Normally when they're presenting on stage.
Yeah.
And that's it from us. Stay tuned. Like, for example, Final Fantasy VII, which I guess we'll talk about later. They did say, and it's playable on the show floor.
Yeah.
So now, for example,
but then would an audience at home take it's playable on the show floor to mean I will see some gameplay later this week then? Because it might not be that. Might not be like
Nintendo. Usually they say like stay tuned for the Treehouse where you can see like demos of all.
Yeah,
these
sure.
games
Yeah. See these games in action. You just got to choose your language a little bit.
Yeah, because we were watching it on Twitch on Monday when it was the PC Gamer Show and Ubisoft. And Kind of Funny Games Showcase, and like it had the full schedule, and a lot of them were like 30-minute looks. So you are seeing a lot more gameplay, you know what I mean? And I just, I can't help but think that people just kind of take that for granted because they're only tuning into these conferences. But remember that they've got to get through a lot. In terms of George's specific gripes, I guess like I don't know, like what's the equivalent? Well, there was an equivalent of the Mad World Gears trailer. They had like that. Billie Eilish, is that her name?
Yeah, the Gears 5 one.
The Gears 5 trailer, which was just loads of heads popping out of heads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that wasn't as much of a spectacle as Mad World, because Mad World, if you haven't watched the trailer, go watch it. It's that good, right? It's just like... I mean,
it borders on, like, at least within gamer culture, that sort of stuff borders on the iconic. I think it is, like, iconic, because how many trailers have you seen since then where you've had a sad, slow song over...
The end of the world.
Or whatever. And so that's like lays the foundation, and like the Dead Island one where it's all played backwards in slow motion and stuff, and
hell of a trailer,
amazing, right? And but then that stays in your memory. But like, would that Gears that new one, would that stay in your memory? Like, I don't know. And the same goes for the Halo ones. I always thought that was like the Halo trailers. I've said this before, but I always thought that it was a bit weird how much gravitas and stuff the trailers had. The trailers were like really had this as like it was like an old war veteran, as if it was like a D-Day veteran in fucking Normandy or something, looking at a diorama of D-Day. Except when you play the game, it's like all like wild little colourful,
purple needles,
and it's like the silliest game of all time. But it's like it's just this weird like contrast. But I definitely know what you mean, like with things not being quite as iconic. But I think it does happen. It's just maybe not this year. It wasn't. There wasn't them trailers every year. Like that,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Before. And if they were, then George would be citing something from a year ago, 2 years ago. Everyone. This is my. I think I've said this before loads. I'm like a massive. This is the hill I will die on big time. It's like I really don't like it when people say about how like stuff was better back then.
Things used to be better.
Yeah, because it definitely wasn't. Like, rock music wasn't better in the 80s. You only remember the bands from the 80s because they're so good. People are talking about them now. There was loads of shit bands in the 80s. It's like now, the only artists that will make it are artists that were massive, like, in this decade. So it's like that with, like, these games and trailers. I bet you that same year as Gears, there was loads of shit and we just can't remember it.
I think it's probably a mix of that and, like he was saying, like he's been disappointed a few times too many. That sort of stuff, you know, is
totally. It's totally
like Watchdogs
believable,
and stuff.
totally understandable. But I think you'll look back on this year in 5 years, and even if you only remember like Final Fantasy VII or one thing, you know, that's all you need in it. But I know what you mean, and I think the tip is don't stay up till 2 a.m. either, because especially if you're not excited, you're kind of going to be going in with a chip on your shoulder, like this better be worth it, and then you're going in with expectation. I didn't watch the Bethesda one live because I knew that it wasn't going to be Elder Scrolls. And I didn't know what else to expect, but I knew it probably wasn't going to be worth it. And if I went in, I'd feel like they owe me something by me staying up in a way, and I didn't want to do that because I'd be miserable. So I didn't watch.
Especially when it is something like you got to stay up early in the morning, and you know if you've got work and stuff, there's just fucking.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? But that's a great email, George. I think it is. I think it comes down to a mixture of stuff, and I think
don't give up hope, isn't it?
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So let's dive into some games then. Liam, what was your favourite? If you had to think off the top of your head, you don't have to pick like the best one, but like what were your favourite things that you saw like overall?
I hope them.
We're in my living room. Someone just proper screamed next door.
Yeah,
I hope they're okay.
I hope I got picked up.
Yeah.
I thought it was your
Let's
cat.
just carry on the podcast as if dinner up now.
Off the top of my head, Final Fantasy VII was probably my overall favourite.
Yeah.
Just because we got a nice chunk of gameplay, it looked fantastic, it looked like everything I'd want from a remake. Overall, that was probably my favourite. Final Fantasy VIII Remaster, did not expect that.
Yeah.
That made me incredibly happy.
Bit of a surprise, that wasn't it?
It was, and it's out this year, so I'm going to buy 7 copies of it because
Sure.
I like Final Fantasy VIII that much.
I guess it seemed a bit unfeasible, maybe, or you know, before because maybe people just thought, oh, it's not going to happen because they whatever. Yeah. So that's cool. So you had some good Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and then
joy.
what else? Nintendo is good. I'm looking forward to Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah,
because I'm a big fan of that series. I can't really Astral Chain. That's out very soon, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Platinum Games. We got like an hour's worth of gameplay from that as well.
I think
from the Treehouse.
I think. Is it Astral Chain that's in beta now? You can be invited to. I think I've seen some Twitch streamers on it this week.
It's a single player game.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of God Eater. There's something where there's invites gone out this week, and maybe that's why they've been so generous. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't really remember what else. There's a lot of the stuff at Microsoft that I'm looking forward to, but that's mainly because it's on Game Pass and I can just play it day one.
You have access to it.
Yeah, without having to put down anything extra.
So on that Game Pass topic, there was there's a new super. What's it called?
Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah.
Which you get Game Pass for Xbox, Game Pass for PC, and Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah,
in one neat little monthly package.
It's pretty,
which is cheaper.
Decent
right?
proposition.
It's $10.99 at the minute while it's in beta, and then it's going up to
14,
13,
15 quid, I think.
Yeah, but still, that's good value.
Yeah.
Oh, I just remember Marvel Ultimate Alliance from Nintendo. I'm looking forward to that.
So talk about that a little bit. What did you see?
Well, we pretty much got like just another like gameplay trailer, and they confirmed there was going to be X-Men in it. There was going to be Fantastic Four, and I think it was characters from Marvel Knights, which is just like a comic banner. It's not like any specific group of heroes or anything.
Yeah.
But they're in the expansion pass. But the game's out like next month, towards the end of July.
Yeah.
So it's out very, very soon.
It's called literally Marvel Avengers.
No, not that one.
You're on about Marvel like Alliance.
Oh, the
Avengers.
shit.
It's kind of isometric one, isn't it?
It's like the action RPG one.
Yeah.
I used to really enjoy it.
I really enjoy that series.
I can't remember if they officially announced that was coming to Switch only.
It is.
I think last year, didn't they announce it with a CGI trailer?
They announced it at Direct, I think.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, because I know we've had this conversation before. I can't remember if it was on camera or off camera, but I remember it being mentioned because they've got that ARPG thing. I remember, isn't it like?
I really enjoyed one of them. I can't remember.
Yeah, one of them was like
first one is what people usually say is the best one.
Yeah.
It looked like free to play shit, but it was actually like played really well.
Very decent.
You're on about Square Enix as the Avengers.
Yeah.
Which I've probably got more to say on later, but not hugely excited by what I saw. It was just sort of there.
Yeah.
And,
so
there's a couple indies I'm looking forward to. Way to the Woods, that little nice DA game.
Yeah.
I want to play that. And that's it off the top of my head. There's probably a lot more, but
Yeah.
there was so much this year.
What about you, Jake?
It's overwhelming.
Final Fantasy VII is the obvious highlight for me. I think it looks fucking... How they managed to do the real-time with... It's essentially real-time with pause, right? Which is normally what they do in CRPGs, yeah? But the way that they've managed to mix that old school, like, picking your skills, or if you want fast-paced stuff, you can shortcut it, with the new school Kingdom Hearts-y Final Fantasy 15 style combat is, like, better than what I could have thought of.
Yeah.
If I thought of my perfect combat system, I still couldn't have thought about it as good as that,
When they showed off that pause and the slow camera revolving around.
Yeah, it's like literally like Matrix shit,
Yeah,
you know. And you got to see Tifa, which everyone wanted to see, and how she plays, and it looks like some fucking Devil May
went
Cry
wild
shit.
when Tifa appeared.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Yes, the crowd went so wild that she has some speaking parts in the trailer. You can't hear them.
I had to rewatch it
Yeah, you can't
when
hear
it was
them
on
'cause-
YouTube.
Yeah, that's it, because she can't understand what she's saying. And yeah, so my suspicions were, and I think I did say this in the thing, but I've been saying it for weeks. I predicted episode 1 would be just Midgar,
Yeah.
and then episode 2 will be Temple of the Ancients onwards. And yeah, it turns out that episode 1 is just Midgar, but it's on 2 Blu-rays,
Yep.
which is fucking sick. Some people are saying, well, Midgar's only a couple of hours long, and I'm currently playing through Final Fantasy VII now, and Midgar's like
Playing it on the
2.
Switch.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. It's about 2 hours long if you know what you're doing. You know where you're going, and you don't have to worry about like figuring out what to do. 2 hours, 3 hours at a push. So to have 2 Blu-rays worth of stuff, they must have have the arcade. The slums are fully explorable. They've got ideas that they wanted to add, and remember that it's been like written by the same dude, originally.
Yeah. I think potentially. I'm not. I do enjoy JRPGs a lot, but I think that it something sort of needs to happen in terms of scale and how they look and stuff. Very much in the same way that like the PlayStation Final Fantasies were like, if you compared them to what you were playing on the SNES and stuff, it just felt like a totally new, fresh thing, right? So it could potentially be like in terms of scale and detail, and like how we always talk about doing the original sin, how the map, like we said last week, the map isn't actually that big, but you can spend so long in there. Something like that where you really get this, because the high bar at the moment is something like GTA or something in terms of what an open world is. Yeah. But this could potentially do something else with it and make it like this sprawling thing that, although in your mind it's like, well, how could they possibly justify that as one game?
I can totally see it when you actually think about it. Coming in fresh, like there's the slums, the junkyard, the Shinra building is massive. There's like areas like that, the chapel, like where Barrett and Marlene live, and like Tifa 7. They're all different places. Yeah. The ghost train graveyard thing, and if you can really think about how big this would be in scale, and it was all fully explorable, I can totally see it. And I don't think, I'm happy to see it being, but
I just like that they're expanding on it as well.
Yeah.
If it was different people expanding on it that had nothing to do with it originally, that didn't know anything about it, if it was like, the Game of Thrones TV show expanding on the books in that way, it might be that situation. But imagine if Game of Thrones, the TV show, expanded on the books, but it was George R. Martin writing it.
Yeah.
The
production team was 400 George R. Martins.
Exactly. So this is like being helmed by people that worked on the original game. So this is canon. This is going to be how it was intention. You know what I mean? And I've got every faith in it. And you know what? Yeah, I don't give a fuck if it's 5 games full price if they are 5 games worth of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it was 5 out, if it was like a Telltale game and I'm paying 40 quid an episode, like that's how some people are reacting online, then I can see why you'd be annoyed. But if you think about it being a standalone game and you're not so cynical that you just don't believe anything ever, then it looks good.
The simple thing is just if you are that annoyed about it, just don't buy it until there's reviews, and then you get a good sense of how big it is, and then if that answers your question, then buy it. Like you don't have to.
Exactly. Just
like, there's a whole Final Fantasy VII's got its own like sub series as well within Final Fantasy, because there's other Final Fantasy VII games. So I reckon they might take elements from them,
right?
Yeah, and, incorporate them in.
Yeah, like Crisis Core being tied in.
If they bring like Zack Fair into it, because he's in one scene of the original game.
Well, he's quite crucial to the overall story in a way. Important. Even in the original Final Fantasy VII, I don't want to say it too much just in case, but you understand he is very, very important, right?
He is, yeah.
And then they kind of explain it. I was going to
Yeah.
say backsplain. They
I like
backsplain
it.
it.
I
They
like it.
backsplain, like they go, you know, they prequelize him, and then if you see more of him as the game is going on, rather than that one big reveal, then
Yeah.
it could really work. And they've got the potential. I guess Advent Children is like way after.
Yeah.
So maybe not. But the other like Dirge of Cerberus and stuff they could do and whatever. Right? Is that right?
Dirge of Cerberus is after as well.
Oh, okay. So yeah, maybe just Crisis Core then. But
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Like
So-
if part 2 was like a remake of Crisis Core, I'd be well happy.
if they, I don't know how they're gonna fit it in, you know. But so Midgar, we at least know that we're gonna be able to expand the party beyond Barrett, Tifa, Cloud. You'll see Ares.
Mhm.
It's Ares. Yeah, I always get confused because it's Aerith in fucking America.
Aerith is the canon one. It's
That's
not-
it.
Ares is what they call it in America.
That's it. Yeah,
it's like Aerith.
ITH or
Yeah,
IS.
that's
yeah.
like the canon one.
So she's in there. I was gonna say something bad, but it'll spoil it for anyone that hasn't played it. Kite Sith is in there as well. So there's 2 extra party members we haven't.
Do you reckon you'll get to use like Biggs and Wedge as well in your party this time?
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna. That's what I mean. If they expand it, there's lots of potential. So, yeah, that's my big one. But just to briefly go over some more that I thought, and this is gonna be way brief compared to that. Fall Guys is like for me like the standout. I don't know why. It's like really bright, colourful.
Yep.
Takeshi's Castle. If anyone's watched Takeshi's Castle, it's like that. The original battle royale. It seems to be like the whole game's like a Mario Party mini game if 100 people played it at once. By the looks of it. A couple of people that I know have played it when they were at E3 and they said it's like properly good. It is like that vibe. Like it looks like it could be a kid's first battle royale game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not like Fortnite, but like you know, a 7-year-old could play it and 4 of you could go online against however many people are in it. So that looks really cool. It looks like really fresh and like I don't know. It looked refreshing in a like fuck. I don't know, man. If all these games are trying to be dark and moody and they're all trying to be like craft beers and they're all like, oh, this is that's like fucking Tropicana.
Yeah,
man.
well, there is
Not
like
sponsored.
an undercurrent of like bright, colourful stuff, isn't there? There's like a load. I feel like there's a lot of indie games that are just really
pastel coloured.
like reveling in being like pink, and
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? And
Mostly
just-
pop out in the Devolver Digital Showcase.
well, yeah, but they all they all sort of stand out. I mean, is there anything else? Anything else that?
Yeah, there was 12 Minutes, which is that sort of thing we saw at Microsoft.
Yeah.
Annapurna Interactive, who bring it every ball. They never drop it. Every single time they're to do something, it's good. Apart from if you like gameplay. Like what they do, like What Remains of Edith Finch and shit. What did Annapurna have to do recently? Were they something to do with Katana Zero?
No, that was Devolver who did Katana.
Yeah,
Zero.
they did something recently, and I was like, shit, it's them
They
again.
did do something recently that was like really well received.
Outer Wilds, they had to do with that, aren't they?
It was
Yeah.
Outer Wilds, yeah.
They're like Annapurna do films a lot, but yeah, this seems to be like a top-down thing where you're in a loop constantly. PT inspired a lot of this loopy stuff. One place looping constantly until something breaks the loop, like that TV show or that Netflix show Russian Doll, and then going straight on the back of 12 Minutes, the Bethesda conference showed off Death Loop, which there was no gameplay. It looks like a cool concept though. There's 2 people, time's looping, they keep killing each other though.
Yep.
A bit Russian Doll, like actually the fact that there's a
Yeah.
man and a woman. It's made by, is it Arcane who did?
Deathloop, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Dishonored.
the
and
Dishonored
stuff.
yeah,
guys,
which I don't have a great. I don't really like their games, right? Like I don't think I've played.
You don't. I mean, you don't like Bioshock either, do you?
No, that's the thing. I'd literally
That's like
anything that
wheelhouse,
they've
yeah.
made, I don't like.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like I'm going to jump in this one. I don't know why it seems to be really on vogue this week. Just seeing time travel mechanics. You saw a lot of it. Yeah, I thought that, I don't know, this weird time loop thing seems to be going.
Yeah.
Xbox did kind of kill it. You know, one thing, I don't think I actually spoke to you guys about this one, but I am interested and I want to know what you thought of it. Watchdogs Legion, you know.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it looks interesting. But, you know, I was watching it, so the tradition was upheld. I was at my brother's house watching it. And he was just sitting there, yeah. So my sister was there as well, yeah. And with me and her are like, this looks fucking good. And he's just sitting there going, well, it's not going to work like that, is it? You can't just go into any NPC, can you? It's not going to work like that. And, like, that's how everyone surely must be watching this going, you can't control every character. And it was like every character can be your main character. So
I
how
mean,
do they voice? Do they fully voice every NPC
No.
to do everything?
I think they probably get like a handful of voice actors and have them do variations. Of
So,
each
for
voice.
example, without pigeonholing. There's an old white woman voice. There's the young black man voice. There's all these, because there's like all the different genders and races. You can if you get,
they're probably not going to sound that different from each other.
So like let's use, for example, what they've really pushed, like the granny, the old lady. There's probably like 8 old grannies, but if you pick one as your main character, it'll be that one voice actress maybe. But I don't know how they're going to do it yet. But I want it to work. I want it to work, because if it works, what a fresh idea! What a cool idea! I and this is the most unoriginal idea. Everybody watching it had the same idea, really. Let's make a team of old people. Let's do the fucking Hat and Garden heist.
I saw quite a few like gameplay impressions of it, and everyone was like, I can't wait to make my team of grandma assassins.
Yeah, it's such an original idea, guys.
Yeah.
But no, I've got to tell you that, like, like normally in Watch Dogs, when you look at people's phone, I watched a guy called Aiden Pierce in the first one. You can see like has $8,000 in bank accounts, afraid of spiders, whatever. It's like got that. But
the evolution, isn't it?
Yeah, but it gives you like the stats. So if you put this person on your team, 10% better damage of silenced weapons or whatever.
Yeah.
The concept it's original. A Ubisoft. And by the way, of course there's a drone in it. Of course there's all these fucking weird like polygon lines.
Yeah.
But they've come up with an original idea.
No, it is cool. It sort of reminded me of Metal Gear Solid 5 a little bit, where you can just hire anyone you want, and
well, you kidnap people in Metal Gear.
that's what I mean.
You hired them against their will.
But Watch Dogs, you at least get them willingly.
Yeah, sure, but they've got like their likes, and they've got like a little fucking Pokemon card of information about each one of them.
Yeah.
With like some, and it sort of reminded me of that.
Weasel.
But then so you like you tranquilize them and fucking balloon them away or whatever.
That's right. Yeah.
But
important point, Liam.
So the means is slightly different, but it sort of reminded me of that, where there's just like in theory an infinite amount.
But imagine just seeing a random guard on the guard tower, knocking him out, kidnapping him, and then you can play the rest of the game as that person, and the game's going to fully work around that. How are they doing that? And if
it's just like character creator, isn't it? Or
yeah,
if you've got a character creator with like
in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, you could play as the soldiers you recruited. But I don't think they were voiced or anything.
That's what I mean. It's not a silent protagonist sitch. It's like they're fully voiced in there.
But if you ever play the Saints Row game, there's like 10 voices or something in there.
That's true. It's true. Maybe it's not as
it is. I think it is. Like if they want to make it as impressive as some people are imagining it could be.
Yeah.
And not just like some fucking quirk thing. We'll have to put a lot of work into it, but it could be cool.
Yeah, I'm not a really massive fan of these community builder-based buildery kind of spin-off subsections of games. I didn't really like it in Metal Gear Solid 5 actually.
Yeah.
But if I could literally like walk the streets and go, right, I don't want to play as Aiden PS2. I want to play as Barbara, and I just recruit Barbara and do the whole game as Barbara, and I am moving around like a crippled old woman. That's what I want, I know that it's going to irritate me that it's like a post-Brexit London, right?
Yeah.
It's just going to annoy me. And did you hear the British accents? I want to say British, let me be very fucking clear. Southern English accents, yeah? Did you hear them accents?
I can't really recall what I thought of them.
They were fucking shit.
Right.
Most of them were just
they were like Australians.
Right.
A lot of stereotypical Cockney stuff
Yeah,
as well.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
I guess.
old jelly deal and all this bollocks.
I'm usually very sensitive to that sort of thing, but I think maybe because I was just like, I've played Assassin's Creed.
It was like
before.
an American has written it.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know, like when you used to play Call of Duty 4, and Americans would try and like frantically scramble to find things to stereotype you, like go and eat some tea and crumpets.
Tea and crumpets was a big one, wasn't it?
That was a big
About
one.
2007.
I'll tell you another one that was a very odd one, yeah. I fucked the Queen. Like, we're going to go, oh no! You uncouth fucking
Her
me.
Majesty.
Yeah. Refer to her as your fucking Majesty. That's another really weird one, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine saying to an American, like, I shagged the president. As if they're gonna,
which
currently, like, not your fucking freedom king.
Which currently is, I shagged your dad because Donald Trump is a man.
Yeah, that's Donald Trump.
President.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna start saying that.
Anyway, so it was that
immediately.
level of fucking dialogue, and of course everyone's in like a George Orwell Animal Farm mask, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to piss me off, and I'm going to hate it every single second of it. But I want to play it and I want to enjoy it. So, but I know I'm going to be annoyed, is what I'm saying. So I've managed my expectations, and that, believe it or not, was one that I'm looking forward to.
Well, there was a lot of Zelda going on as well. That was just something that there's 3
So
Zelda
there's 3.
games.
So Cadence of Hyrule, which is out right now.
Yeah, which is a what is it? Rhythmic fucking
so it's
music game.
Crypt of the
Necrodancer?
Mancer?
Dancer.
Dancer would make sense.
It's
wouldn't
that, but in Hyrule.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is that trend of Hyrule Warriors kind of esque stuff where it's just they go, wouldn't this be good if it was
Nintendo
Zelda?
love, like, if you have an idea for Zelda, they're always like, yes, do it. No matter what the idea, they seem to like love letting people have a go at Zelda.
Yeah, I know. It's quite irritating and weird, I find.
I
watched it on Twitch.
I forgot what it was called, so I've written it down here as Zelda Ocarina of Funk. So
Nice.
If that's not what the sequel to this one's called,
Nice,
I don't know
yeah.
what it is.
I like it. There was so we saw Link's Awakening gameplay.
That was
It's
nice.
Completely playable E3, and they're letting
And it's out
people.
very soon.
It's out really soon, and they're letting people record it and put it on YouTube.
what's the release date?
September, I want to say 21st.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
like 2 months away or something. But it's on YouTube now. You can see random people playing it.
They've got a dungeon creator in it.
Yes,
Make
you can.
your own dungeons.
Yeah, it looks cool, doesn't it? I don't know how that's gonna. That's probably just like a bolt-on for Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah.
Send it to your friends using
Yeah.
that friend code. And then so the kind of big news, the big Zelda news, which by the way, I just want to go out and say this straight away before I even get into this. It's exactly the same fucking thing that we saw from fucking Bethesda with Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
But everyone went mad for this one. They showed you like
Well, this one was more
because
than just a logo.
And it's also the sequel to the greatest game ever made. So
Okay,
Remember
so
that.
yeah, Breath of the Wild 2 was announced, but it's not called Breath of the Wild 2.
Breath of the Wild 2 can only get worse from here, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Zelda Breath of the Wild. It couldn't possibly be as
It couldn't possibly.
highly
It
rated.
it starts
as
off with like this Ganondorf, like
I think that was Ganondorf, wasn't it?
yeah, it was, yeah, but it's like
His core.
I was going to say. That's what I was trying to look for. Is it a corpse? What is it? It's like
Zombified.
human zombified Ganondorf. You remember those creepy things in Ocarina of Time that screeched at you? It was Ganondorf as one of them, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then you saw Zelda with she has like a bob.
To have a
which is-
haircut, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of different for the series. Sounds like really stupid, but if you're a Zelda fan, like
It's like
quite
when Rihanna did it.
it's
Isn't
quite
it?
a big thing. Yeah, exactly. Innit? Yeah, exactly. All the girls are doing it, you know. And then and then you saw this big fuck off explosion, and then they just really flexed, saying the sequel to Breath of the Wild's on the way. Mm-hmm. It might as well have ended with saying "Don't worry about it, forget about it," kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Do you reckon it's going to
Yeah.
have a new name?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, of
As in
course.
not Breath
I've
of the
seen-
Wild.
No, definitely not.
A lot
No,
of people.
Or Breath of the Wild something else.
It'll be a Majora's Mask
to an Ocarina of
situation.
Time. Of course, it fucking will. Yeah,
Lo-
it seems like a darker version
It does,
in
yeah.
exactly the same place.
Yeah,
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 Which
yeah.
I'm all for, because Majora's Mask is actually my favourite Zelda.
Very
It's a
nice.
resurgence of people saying this at the moment. It's people are saying actually I didn't play Ocarina of Time around the time and Majora's Mask is better. It seems to be the
Yeah.
thing, you know, people who speak out about that, trying to hush it, is people who just played Ocarina of Time at the time.
I just
remember when
like
we
how
did-
weird it got.
What? Majora's Mask?
Majora's Mask, yeah.
Skull Kid is fucking sick in it.
He's good.
The happy mask guy and that.
Moon staring down
And,
at you all the
the
time.
weird moon. How can you forget that
it's
weird
it's
thing?
a sense of impending dread that I like.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It came out around the same time as Teletubbies came out, and it was like the really happy baby in
Yeah.
the sun
Yeah.
and that moon.
Yeah.
Like the fucking evil twin or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think there'll be any Teletubbies in this one. So yeah, I don't know. Like you don't really see sequels much to these Zelda games. So
No.
Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, and then Wind Waker had like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks.
Yeah.
So they're like the only canon sequels. So the fact that this is a sequel and not another reimagining, another guy wakes up 100
Yep.
years, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Did I finish Breath of the Wild? No. So
You should.
I don't know. You know, I
I
don't.
haven't finished it either.
So to me, it's like
Good.
I haven't got 120 hours to spare.
It's not that long.
It feels long.
It's as long as you want it to
This-
be. Is weird thing about it.
I know, yeah, and I agree with that. But
Yeah.
what happens is you whip your eyeglass thing out, you look, and you're like, oh, it's fucking over there.
that's far
So
away,
over
you
there.
know.
And then you're like,
Yeah.
and I haven't
Better
got
find
this.
a place to use me leaf.
I haven't
to
got
fly
the
a bit.
time to
Yeah.
whimsically go,
It's
oh,
true,
it's
you
not
know.
about getting from A to B, it's about the journey along the way and all the fun activities you make
you
for
know what,
yourself.
yeah?
I haven't got the fucking time
Yeah,
to
exactly.
just get me to the...
I'm a massive fan of Zelda, you know. As a kid, they were my favourites, you know. Like, now as an adult, I look back and I think I actually like Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid better. But as a kid, I was like, no, I'd have no one telling me that
Yeah.
Link's Awakening wasn't the best. In fact, that's why I'm so excited this one's coming out. Because this is the one no one fucking really gives a shit about.
Yeah.
Because everyone had the SNES one, Link to the Past.
I'm really looking forward to Link's
But
Awakening.
Link's Awakening
Yeah.
is secretly...
I'm really looking
it's
forward to it.
funny.
Well,
It's
it,
got-
it looks really nice, and I think
You need to wake the windfish.
Yeah, man, that's the fucking best bit.
there's just sometimes you
do you
look
do?
at a game as well and you think that makes a lot of sense on the Nintendo Switch, and that does.
Yeah,
And
oftentimes
so,
actually.
Yeah, well,
I can't think of a game where I've looked at that and
no.
gone, this will never work on Switch.
Go on,
Link
then.
to the Past got a direct sequel, Link Between Worlds. I just remember
Oh
that.
yeah,
That was
so it
good
did
as
that,
well.
and that was quite
That
like
was a
20
good
years
one.
later.
I like these Link pun ones. I hope there's a Zelda. I hope this next one is a Link pun. I hope it's Zelda. Link.
Zelda Link. You heard it here first,
Link
folks.
of the Wild.
Link
Yeah.
to the Wild.
Link-
That's
Link.
George of the Jungle.
Link to the Wild,
Link.
man. Yeah, Link to the Wild. Yeah, so I think put a code on in there and we're good, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Put 2 if you want. Everyone's doing it.
I wasn't as excited about this Nintendo one as everyone else, so, to be honest with you.
I thought it was pretty good, but
It was a good showing.
There's something. I think there was just something quite. I mean, it's Nintendo, isn't it? But there's just something quite like joyful about it in some way, where there's a lot of. It's just like, here's a nice thing. Here's a nice thing. Here's a
Got
nice
to meet
thing.
Doug Bowser.
And
there
it
was they did it. They got the Bowser in the room,
Yeah.
didn't they? Bowser was like, "I'll host this," and then Doug Bowser was like, "Sorry, wrong
Get it?
Bowser," and everyone was like,
It was
"He's
cheesy.
back." Everyone's like, 3 months later, he's got it. He's done it.
It's so cheesy, but I like
Yeah,
that.
He was
exactly.
cute, he was
It's
nice,
picking up
he was
where
very
Reggie
serious.
left off, innit?
They
It's
are.
like just make some put
Yeah,
a little cheesy
he's very
thing in
not hateable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't talk about the Nintendo thing without just expressing my disappointment.
Go
Really,
on.
that Animal Crossing's been delayed. But you look at why they've done it, and they really did a PR smasher, didn't they? Have you seen what they've done? It's delayed because they could have put the game out,
yeah.
but they wanted the work-life balance of the staff to be good. They
I've-
didn't want to crunch.
I've
because
actually read that about 3 times about 3 different games in the last week. I can't remember what the others were. but
Apex
I've
Legends was one
Apex
of them.
Legends was
I
one.
think
of
Cyberpunk said it again.
Cyberpunk.
CD Projekt said they will not make their employees
So-
crunch again.
Yeah, well, all you're doing, dickheads, is putting all your games in March 2020, and I
Yeah.
don't have that much money. I'm not spending 500 quid that month. I tallied up, right? Genuinely.
Crunch for Jake.
It's 380 quid's worth of games that I want on that month. There's no fucking... That's a holiday, that.
Just save
Imagine
up for
if you
it.
got the Final Fantasy Special Edition.
I'm going to
That's
have to
200
not buy
quid.
things
Well,
day one like a chump.
why don't you just imagine it comes out in December and put 40 quid aside for when it does come out?
Yeah, it could be true. Yeah, what do they call that? It's like ordering it, but before.
No. I didn't say give them 40 quid. I said
Oh,
put
you-
it aside.
In a little, like,
Yeah.
fun...
Just get a nice little fund going. Open a savings
It's
account.
mad how many games have come out in that window, because
yeah.
remember just a few years ago, March is quiet, and then
Yeah.
I think it was Breath of the Wild, actually, that came out in March, but now...
There's loads. God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn.
That was
Nier
April.
Automata.
God of War was it March, wasn't it?
It was April.
Was it?
Because I was on paternity leave and my daughter was born on April the 10th. So, yes, it was.
It is
she was.
literally the next month after it, though.
No, yeah, it
So-
was. Yeah, no, it truly was. Yeah, and but the point is March. And do you know why I think it's March? Right, you ready for some fucking bollocks? I reckon it's because it's the last fiscal year before the new console, so they need as much positive sales as they can,
They wanna
because
go out
this
on a
is the
high.
year that this is the year that they launch a console. So if they can release a slammer in March 2020, and that'll be when investment's high and the shareholders are happiest, that's when they can get
Start a YouTube channel, mate.
investors. No, you see what I mean, or don't you? Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah.
Jake's
Listen, Young, yeah, you
gaming
can quote me on that one, mate.
analysis,
Cheers.
But it also would make like public facing sense as well, wouldn't it? Because there'll be just slightly less. There'll be a little bit of a dip in whatever the console generation is now. If you're bringing out Zelda or whatever, and PlayStation 5 has just come out and Xbox 2, and you're like, well, I've got 2 other whole consoles to worry about before like buying games for
Yeah.
the last gen, even though there's like backwards compatibility and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
But-
so they've got to get it in early. So, yeah, March seems all right, but I think we've got a lot coming out. But, yeah, Animal Crossing delayed, and can't remember what the other game was that they haven't given a set release date for. They just had a winter. I can't remember what it was. So, but
couple of games really that I mean the
what
Nintendo
like?
Switch ones that I like Nintendo because there was a lot of ports that I was like pretty happy about. Like I quite like that.
I bought
Final Fantasy 8.
Mana Collection. I bought.
Yeah, you
the
did,
suit
didn't
as
you?
it was
Right
on
there.
the eShop.
That was the Right Now game this time.
Yeah.
The Witcher 3 on
And Last
Nintendo
Remnant.
Switch.
I got that as well.
And which one?
Last Remnant
Oh,
on the
yeah.
Switch.
Yeah.
They were both like right nows.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
was like pretty cheap as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, 15 quid for Last
Good,
Remnant.
The
Yeah.
Last Remnant.
It's a good game.
I think it's like 60 or something on 65 or something like that on one of them, Metacritic.
Yeah.
But yeah, weird one. I almost bought that as well, but then I didn't. So that's a great.
I think
story.
that was
I've
on
played
the
it
back
before,
of
so I know what I'm getting
something
into.
like the
I played it before. I played
Final
it on-
Fantasy 7, 8, 9, and 10 were like made by a certain
Like,
amount of people, right?
If you're a JRPG fan,
Yeah.
this E3 was like a slammer.
It was really because it's like Yeah, there's a lot of JRPG stuff there. There's like Dragon Quest stuff, but yeah, I think Last Remnant, is this right, Liam? Just so I know, 5 Fantasy 7, 8, 9, and 10 were made by like set amount of people, and then they kind of split up, and then half of that team made Mistwalker, who made the game called Lost Odyssey, and then the remaining Square team then made The Last Remnant, which was the other one. But people secretly think Lost Odyssey is like the good gang.
The founder of Final Fantasy left Square Enix after 10, I think.
Yes,
and that's when he went and found Mistwalker.
So you can buy Last Remnant, which is not that game.
It's
cheap.
a decent game though. It had some issues, but it's all right.
It's the same period, wasn't it? Generally, like
I think Lost Odyssey and Last
yeah.
Remnant came out kind of at the same time, and it was like kind of Metallica Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
If I remember, there was Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, Infinite Undiscovery, and
look at him if he remembers. Of course he fucking remembers.
Well, Infinite Undiscovery got made backwards compatible.
Right,
it's like part of the last wave, so I was happy about that because I never actually finished that game. So I'll go back to that. But yeah, there was like this early 360 period where they had loads of exclusive JRPGs, and then no one bought them because they were on 360, and no one buys a 360 for JRPGs.
Yeah, right.
Can you explain
Okay.
how not discovering things is infinite?
I don't know.
Think about
Death.
infinite.
I can't even remember what the game's about.
Discovery. It's not infinite discovery
Is it
where you
infinite?
can.
Right, I'm
That's
gonna.
like a
I'll
No
Google
Man's
this
Sky
quick. I'm
tagline.
pretty sure it's.
You Google it.
infinite.
Well, Mike, you tell us what games that you're interested again. Sorry,
Oh,
because we
thank
just
you.
commandeered it for
Cheers.
JRPGs.
Sorry, yeah,
Thanks, Dad.
I keep cutting across you. I'm so sorry.
So I've not really got a huge amount to say. I mean, it's literally
exactly.
just.
Sorry.
Fucking, I want to talk for half an hour now, you bastard.
Sorry.
I like the like Alien Isolation and.
Just to confirm, it is Infinite Undiscovery.
Cheers, nice one, Liam.
Leo, thank. Go on, man.
Welcome.
Yeah, it got the room.
I can't even remember what I was going to say.
Alien
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 Isolation on
Isolation.
Switch?
Oh yeah. The Witcher 3 being on Switch was pretty impressive. Although it doesn't. Even the reveal trailer looks like.
And you know that they picked the best
arse.
stuff.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, in case you don't know the stats, world, it's 720p docked.
Yeah.
It's 540p if you're playing it.
Yeah.
But on a
Handheld.
6-inch
And-
screen, who's
I
arse,
reckon-
mate?
I think
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey runs about that when you're playing it handheld.
It's not even. It's not a resolution, is it? It's a game like The Witcher 3 where there's just the textures and everything. It's like when you put it on a fucking PC World laptop that was £199, and you're like, it runs, but it doesn't look. It doesn't look very. So I really want. I want a digital foundry sort of. Tell me what I'm looking at here.
They've
Yeah.
already done one from the trailer.
No,
Oh well, yeah, but
I know they haven't got, like,
they need to
what
dissect
I'm saying is I'm not going to buy it when it comes out until Digital Foundry have told me exactly how
It looks like
what
the
I'm dealing
physical
with.
package of it is like they've got the map in there,
Yeah.
soundtrack CD.
Yeah, I'm
They're
sure.
like-
I'm
they're
sure.
going
I'm
all
sure.
out on it.
It's the sheer fact that it's happening is very impressive. But
I don't know if I don't know if you saw this or they announced it at the time, but it includes the DLC as well, all on this one SD card.
I think you've got to really though. You've got to do that. Because what's the point otherwise? Do you know what I mean? It's,
They did call it complete edition, so
Yeah.
you do need everything.
I can't believe that they managed to get it running.
it's amazing. It's wild.
Yeah, no, honestly, and don't like Mike's saying this as somebody who's played the game. But if you've not played The Witcher, or if you like just a complete Nintendo fucking evangelist, and you haven't played it, don't let people with fucking 2080s and processors that cost them more than a fucking house tell you that it's gonna run like shit. If you've not played it, it doesn't. You could play it on a Nintendo 64 if it would run on it, because you want to play it for the story in it.
Yeah.
For you, obviously, you've already kind of experienced like the amazing nature of it. So yeah, it's more crucial.
It would be more of a little reliving on the go sort of thing for me.
Exactly.
But then also Star Wars was like, I've got some complicated things about Star Wars. I also got an email from Anthony LaRosa about Star Wars Jedi, whatever it is.
Fallen Order.
Thanks. The special moves. This is Anthony from New Jersey. In America. Anthony here from New Jersey, America. He starts. You may remember me from my story about riding the struggle bus through Kingdom Hearts 2 a few months ago.
Yeah.
Troy
I do
McClure
remember.
over here.
So Anthony McClure continues, with E3 ongoing and being a big Star Wars fan, I was pretty excited to see the gameplay for Respawn's Jedi Fallen Order. After watching it though, I feel a bit deflated on the game already. Nothing about the game looked particularly bad, but nothing looked great either for me. The gameplay looked a bit like God of War, but not as strong, and the environmental traversal looked like Uncharted, but not as exciting or cinematic. It kind of feels like other games have done what this one is doing already, but better, and this game is really just riding on the Star Wars name to carry it. I know this is just the first look into the game, but I was hoping they'd come out the door swinging with this gameplay reveal. Also, as always, keep up the good work. I tune in every week since the BGG days. Best regards, Anthony. Cheers, Anthony.
Thank you very much, man.
I think I'm exactly where he is, and I'm kind of like, it didn't blow me away. It really didn't blow me away, and especially when it got into the third-person combat stuff, and maybe because it is a little bit more like, it's like in Force Unleashed, it's like so like highly animated, and you're like, you know, you're jumping from one character to the next. And it's like Batman Arkham Knight or whatever. You're like, you know, it's more about the animation, and you're just timing your button presses. Whereas this looks a little bit more sort of floaty and disconnected, and a bit more like the Jedi Knight games. Because it's a bit less like direct, which is a good thing for me.
Yeah.
It's you know, so it won't come across as well in a gameplay like demo like this. But when you're playing it, it's actually, you can do more with it, and there's more options, and it feels like you're in control a bit more. But I think I thought exactly this stuff. I was like, well, it's climbing, like it's a lot of Uncharted, but Uncharted has already happened, and it's you know, how are you ever going to top that without being, you know, really taking it further than Uncharted already has? And God of War happened really recently, and that was like an unbelievably well executed and polished sort of melee combat system. So this, I don't know, I just, I'm happy that it's happening. I'm really happy that it's happening, and I really hope it is good. And I still think it could be. But I was the same. I wasn't like totally blown away by this. I mean, what about you guys? I mean, Liam, you probably care a little bit more than Jake.
I did. I tuned in to watch the thing at EA Play, and I liked what I was seeing, but I don't know how it's going to hold up over the course of like a 15-hour story or whatever. Because like I said, it looked quite floaty, quite disconnected, and all the like grunt type stormtrooper enemies seem to just go down in one hit, no matter what. And I get, you know, you have to do that because it's a lightsaber. It's meant to slice through anything. Yeah. And it oddly reminded me a bit of Neo with the stamina bars above every enemy. You have to like break their posture type thing. So I got a bit of feeling that I think it'll be all right. The main thing I saw was just, and I hate to say it, but the visuals were not good. No. And everyone started, there was like, I saw people on Twitter making fun of, there's like a Wookiee towards the end, and it was like people were saying like Wookiee.jpg and stuff like that. It was really bad looking Wookiee.
Like Mr. Hanky, the Christmas tree from Star Wars, you know.
It was,
the fur texture was off. It looked like slime.
The facial animation seemed a bit rough to me as well.
You know, for me, the thing that I found like that was, I don't know how often people have been talking about this on the internet. You could see the seams, like, what I mean is, like, you know, God of War is like extreme, there's one shot, so it's one extreme of it. But this was like really like, okay, you run up this bit of the wall, then you have to press square on a tree branch. That'll unlock the next column that you run through. You run through that, and then you kill 3 grunts, press square to open the next loading area. Then now it's an arena where you fight a man. And it felt like you could kind of see the map design hidden behind press square. Like all these weird like little quick time events. To access the new areas, kind of just looks like the game can only load this much at a time. Press this to advance, and I don't know, like it just feels really PlayStation 1. And so because of that, like the momentum of being a guy that runs up walls and has got like force powers in this, but then has to run square. It was like, I don't know, like there was, and I think it's because Respawn make Titanfall 2, which I recently played, and Apex Legends, which I'm always on, and that is like, if I could use like a word to describe those games, it would be the word momentum. Like that is just it. Like it doesn't stop. You're sliding, you're running, you're
slick as hell.
It's hell, and this is just like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
I mean, if you're a fucking in-depth RPG like Knights of the Republic, then that's great. That's actually that's an interesting element
Hell
to an
yeah.
RPG, but it's not an RPG, is it? It's a game about battering, and it is like a Batman Arkham or God of War or something like that, or an Uncharted, where it is about the story and the action. So the action's got to be really fucking good.
I really think that they should have got DICE on board to just help them with the sound, because to me a lot of it felt floaty, because even when you play Battlefront 2, a lot of the weight I think comes from the vroom sounds and the blaster bullets hitting off and stuff like that. And even though that they're very specific sounds that they must, I don't know if they're licensed from LucasArts or something, or if they're really recreated every time by a sound team to make sure it's as crisp as it can be.
Probably a library or something, isn't there?
Yeah. I can imagine DICE would recreate it because it's so high fidelity.
Yeah.
Whereas this just feels like very flat. So I think that, to me, a lot of it, obviously I'm not playing it, I'm just watching it, a lot of the heft could probably be improved by tightening up the sound just from watching it. I don't know.
Yeah. And it is really tough to do, if you think about it's not like sword combat, which is difficult to do on its own. This is sword versus guns. So how do you make that good? It's really difficult.
Sword versus guns, where, as soon as the gunman is in range of the swordsman's got a sword that can cut through fucking anything and should truly slice them in half. But there's also no gore, so that's a bit of a weird one. There's a part where he does a full-on... Remember, he thrusts through the stormtrooper. There's and I don't want to be edgy and be I wanted blood and guts, but it's I don't know, that disconnect felt... that added to the floatiness even more.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like that had any weight to it.
Yeah.
And I know a lightsaber is supposed to be effortless because it's, I guess, whatever. What's a lightsaber made out of? Light.
Just don't worry about it.
Alright, okay. The Force? Anyway, whatever. That should have been more And then, don't have a little boss battle against the guy that shouts traitor from that one Star Wars film.
That was probably the best bit, I thought, though, because it looked like an actual duel.
Like you were saying, the stamina bar then, it became interesting.
I feel like what it's missing is you don't have, like you say, heft and weight, and it doesn't feel like that. But or equally, you don't feel like you're like this, especially when he whips the lightsaber out to fight. You don't feel like this, it doesn't look like you're this dynamic fucking. You need to be swirling around and moving quickly and exactly and in control of the situation. Whereas this is just a little bit lightsaber down, lightsaber up, chop, lightsaber down, and he's sort of his back is square to the camera the whole time, and it's it doesn't have this he doesn't feel like a really powerful dude who should be able to take guys with guns out with a sword. But he just, I don't know. It's a straight. Maybe it's a mix of all animation and things just not quite gelling. Maybe it will by the time it comes out. But
I don't know if did they mention anything it was there. I think they did. Did they mention it was the pre-alpha?
I think so.
So of course they're going to say that, which is going to blanket any criticism over stuff like what we're talking about, because that could be a very early build or whatever. And of course, if you're working on a build that early and things are due to change, why would you spend loads of money on a proper sound effect or getting that heft in, because it's non-committal? So maybe these things can be tightened up towards the end, but I don't know. I didn't really get much of a sense of the story either, and I know that when we previously saw it, we saw just a story slice. You were kind of some exile on a train. You had to make sure no one saw you because it's illegal to be a Jedi or whatever.
Runaway Padawan.
That's pretty much what it was, right? Yeah, that's it. And then now you got just slice of the game, but I didn't feel I can't really remember what the grand scheme of things was. I just remember there being trees, a couple of guys, a boss battle of a guy on a stick, and you knocked a branch over. I genuinely can't remember what else happened.
It looked as in almost every aspect. It reminded me of Anthem. In that I don't quite know.
Do you know what? Yeah, that is fucking perfect.
Well, you're welcome.
But
do you know what I mean though? It just feels like
I know what you mean.
I don't quite know what the world is. I don't quite know how the action plays out. It looks a bit floaty and
do you know what? Yeah, because that's everything that we were saying about Anthem.
Yeah,
the camera was a bit too behind them, and it was a bit it was a bit of it not very clear with the message. Man, that's deja vu.
Anyway, let's do a couple more emails before we do the new releases and wrap up.
I had a brief minute there where I thought we haven't talked about Sony. I'd forgotten.
Yeah, well,
I genuinely had forgotten.
Fuck them guys, innit?
Yeah.
They're not even there.
Not even going to turn up.
Should we mention Avengers quickly?
If you want, mate.
Yeah.
Go on. Now's your time.
Not a lot of people very impressed by it. We saw.
Yeah, even them by sort of the feel in the room there. Should we talk about Avengers? Yeah, all right then.
We got like maybe 10 seconds of gameplay, like interspersed of all the trailer stuff. They showed off the voice cast for some reason.
Yeah, seems odd.
Yeah.
What have we got that's good? What have we got that's good?
So we got to see a room of Nolan North, Troy Baker, Laura Bailey, the standards voice actors explaining what it means to be Tony Stark and Bruce Banner and all that.
I didn't actually know Laura Bailey was till recently, and she's in
everything.
She was in I think she was on Geek and Sundry. I was watching some D&D, and I was like, that's who it is.
Do you remember when fucking Elijah Wood, like all the other Lord of the Rings ones, they were in the game. Like John Rhys Davis,
they were
giving up their time as famous Hollywood A-listers, and they were saying things.
They were saying the same 5 lines over and over
There's
again.
even more of them, things like that.
Exactly.
And they had the little diamond faces that sort of looked terrible.
Solid Snake PS1 days.
Yeah, but then Elijah Wood actually thought it looked like him, even though it was just a little.
It's like
10 Are you saying that they should get Robert Downey Jr.? Cause
yes, they fucking
basically
should.
Just Nathan Drake.
That is honestly a genuine complaint from some people because it looks like they're taking quite a bit of inspiration from the MCU.
Yeah.
But it's separate from the MCU.
Yeah.
And you can't blame people. We've been watching Robert Downey Jr. be Iron Man for like 10 years, so that's what people associate with Iron Man.
It's not even like if he was there for a day, going, yes.
Think about how many actual words we've said in an hour.
Exactly. Right, and he is like meant to be, he's like the highest paid male actor or whatever of the last year or whatever. So he's like top of his game.
Yeah.
Just give a day or two, mate, and then make
Keanu
a lot of money.
Can do it.
Keanu can fucking do it. Look, what the problem is, they haven't got Kojima involved. If Kojima was there, they would have all of them. But I didn't think much of this really.
No, we didn't really learn a lot about. We know it'll have a single player campaign. Yeah. We know it'll have a co-op multiplayer campaign.
It's a shared world shooter.
Yeah,
it's
and
Anthem 2,
they
guys.
did the whole
shared
thing.
world super.
They came on stage. They were like, "No loot boxes, no more that." They said there's going to be more heroes released, like as post-launch DLC. They showed off. I think the first one was Ant-Man. He's going to be in it.
Why would they not post-launch DLC for a game out in February?
Yeah, I know, but
do you know what I mean? Yeah. What are they on about? It's fucking June.
They want people to play it for years to come, I think.
Sounds like Anthem.
Sounds like everyone else.
We got an open world, shared world shooter with a small campaign released in February. I hope this bombs. So it's no, I don't. But I hope I hope if it does bomb, people will assume that it's because it's a shared world shooter out in February. And then they stop making them.
It just seems like massive. Like they just. I don't know how this keeps happening, but they're just Dead Space 2. Now with multiplayer, Dead Space 3, now with co-op, fucking Bioshock, now Bioshock 2, now with added multiplayer. Why? Just
do you know what?
That's what the market.
Do you know what? Yeah, not to be a dick, but they should have put that out this year instead with the voice cast from the films.
Exactly.
Sales would have been.
And don't even worry about all it. See if people actually buy it and fucking like it to begin with, and then start
everyone
selling
would be
DLC.
gagging for what was it? Endgame? Was that the last one?
Endgame, yeah.
Endgame, and they would have just.
Imagine if Endgame wasn't the last one.
In a world,
it's
Mike,
not actually.
In a world.
It actually isn't. But
we've got Spider-Man. But yeah, the most damning criticism I saw for Avengers was it's like the MCU, but they could only get their stunt doubles.
Exactly, and I also to accompany that, it feels like the MCU theme park ride. I don't mean to be like cruel about it, but the graphical style is like it feels like an arcade cabinet or something, or like a. I don't know what it is. Maybe it could be something as shallow as not having the likeness of the MCU or something. But
there was a few behind closed doors demos, impressions, and people said it looked quite rough.
Yeah,
just like they said that it cut to a scene of like Captain America, and it was just like fighting a bunch of military-looking, like faceless grunts. Yeah, and that was it.
I can believe that. I can totally believe that.
I don't have enough passion for the Marvel cinematic or non-cinematic universe to pull me through another open shared world shooter. I don't know what I'd play that shared world. I don't know what they'd have to do to get me into another one of them.
Division 2 is probably the best one out now at the minute.
I can't get into that either. I dropped
banging on about
40 quid on that.
Played it for a while and then I just haven't been back to it since.
Banging on about Destiny, aren't they? Like they made that free to play.
Could get me back, like no problem.
Yeah. So it's completely free now up until Forsaken. You have to buy Forsaken, and they've got all these mad plans for that. But
I tell you what, I'll get you in, mate. From Software Shared World. You'd be
Fucking-
well. It kind of
In
is
a way,
already.
it is. In a way, it
Exactly.
is. Elden Ring, by the way, it's like one of them. It's like so good you don't talk about it. It's like how
Well,
you
and
talk
also
about-
it was just cinematic reveal, wasn't it? A classic Dark Souls
yeah,
trailer,
and
really.
we kind of already knew. It's what we said in the E3 thing.
Yeah.
Right? We heard about it.
Imagine if no one knew about the George R. R. Martin thing, and then when it goes
In a way, I
Miyazaki,
feel-
and then it goes George R. R.
Yeah,
Martin.
no, that
Imagine
would
if no one
have been
knew.
a mind blow. That's the
Yeah.
thing, isn't it? It's
Internet's ruining itself.
it's kind of leaking. Everything is kind of ruining it. I saw that discussion last week massively about stuff like Baldur's Gate and whatever. But it's it's something that I
Yeah.
wish I could have seen for like that. Really would have been. It was apparently called Great Rune. I don't know about Elden Ring because it makes me always want to say Elven Ring, which is a very, very,
Wow.
very, very famous part of high fantasy history.
Control yourself.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's do a couple more emails because that's what I said like 10 minutes ago. We're massively running over, but I guess there's a lot to talk about.
Running over.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, we are though, mate.
Yeah. I don't know what time it is because it's too dark.
Hour 7.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, exactly. 7 hours, mate.
It's
Think of
video
that.
game Christmas,
This is hour
mate.
7.
Right.
As a fellow Divinity Original Sin 3 addict, Divinity Original Sin 3 addict.
I think that might
Have I fucking missed something here, mate?
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
Mike,
to
I'm-
say it's just a typo. But
I'm-
you're not caught in a time loop.
Yeah, I've been meaning to tell you something. Right, go on.
So this is from Noah Mills. I'll start again. As a fellow Divinity Original Sin 3 addict, that is what's written down here. Thanks to you,
2
Mike.
and 3 next to each other on a keyboard.
It's not a grand conspiracy.
Yeah, give him a break, will you? Unless he typed out 3, in
Well,
which case.
listen to the next bit.
Alright.
Thanks to you, Mike, you fucker. Right? I'm not giving this guy any
I
breaks.
see, you're right. He's going hard on him. Okay, go on.
And a weekly. Right, this is an absolute mess, Noah. I'm so sorry, mate. As a fellow Divinity Original Sin 2 probably addict, thanks to you, Mike, you fucker, and a weekly D&D 5th edition player, I'm absolutely ecstatic for Baldur's Gate 3. I'm very curious, though. Do you guys think it will just be Divinity Original Sin 3 again? That's what's written down here. Divinity Original Sin 3. With a D&D skin over it, which honestly wouldn't be that bad, or something completely different. No Mill. So is Baldur's Gate 3 going to be Divinity Original Sin 2, but with some tweaks, or is it going to be something completely different? I guess this is a bit awkward because...
And I can't say, can I? So,
Oh, okay.
But you guys can talk about it all you want. But what I will say is,
Well, I can't. I mean, I don't know. So that's. But I was kind of hoping you would.
I've
I
never-
didn't know what was.
I've never played a Baldur's Gate game.
yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. This is kind of a very political answer. But I was going to say what I do hope is that, because I find the weird thing is, from conversations I had and conversations I've seen, loads of people have played one or the other, but they don't realise. Like, for example,
As in Divinity or Baldur's Gate.
yeah,
Ah, I see.
right. But these two people don't realise that
They're made for each
love
other.
yeah, this is it. Honestly, I'm really excited to see Baldur's Gate fans who are like, right, well, go on and impress me, Larry, and then they get this game Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah.
Maybe the first one if they're feeling very fruity, and then like you guys are obviously in the complete opposite camp, which I think is a harder task really, because you're like playing CRPG like mythical levels like Divinity Original Sin 2 and then going, right, well, everyone's saying this Baldur's Gate 2 is just as good and you're going to have to go back in. I'm really excited to see what the conversations are in September when Baldur's Gate 2 comes out everywhere else, to see what's being discussed and stuff like that. But I don't know.
That was a political answer. You literally went, actually, what I will say, which is what all politicians say as well, that's like code. Look out for that. I'm not going to answer your question, but what I will say, they all say what I will say is, actually what I will say is,
Yeah.
that just means I'm not going to fucking
Yeah.
even bother referring to the question. So sorry we couldn't help you out there, Noah, but I'm sure it'll be good. We also got one here from a friend of the channel, long-time patron Stuart Burns, who says,
Yeah, nice one, man.
I've been watching some of the information coming out of E3 and I was floored by the Darksiders Genesis announcement. Don't know if he actually wrote floored like that, but I felt like he needed the emphasis.
Yeah.
Darksiders is a brilliant IP, and the fact they made it a Diablo-style game is amazing. I'm honestly worried for the state of Diablo with all the newer ARPGs coming out. With the isometric viewpoint, we now have Path of Exile, Warhammer Chaos Bane, Inquisitor Martyr. Now we have announced Darksiders Genesis, which in essence is Diablo in all but name, angels, demons, and Nephilim.
Nice.
The future is very bright for this genre, but dimming for Blizzard's hold over it. Keep up the excellent work and looking forward to your next video very soon. Cheers, guys. Stuart.
You know what? It's a good point. I think that Diablo was probably still is the first thing that comes to mind for ARPG, right? No one's going. Actually, you know what? Path of Exile, if I'm to believe what I'm told from like Kale in this, is like becoming the archetype. Is supposed to be really good. But I know Stu is a massive ARPG fan. He's got videos on his channel that's just literally comparing ARPGs and stuff like that. So, by the way, Darksiders Genesis, this is another one of those games where you saw. So it was announced before E3, but during E3 week, there's now more gameplay online. So I don't know if this email was written before he's seen more of it and stuff like that. But I think that the secret to like ARPGs, by the looks of it, is to go in with an existing IP. That seems to be it. Diablo didn't do that though. Diablo crafted its own IP around this genre, whereas everyone else seems to.
It's got to be the most successful of all time, isn't it? Like in just
Diablo, exactly. So maybe that's maybe the true secret is to. Everyone thinks it's to do that. Go into a game where there's already established lore, but maybe it's to just Path of Exile.
Yeah.
Because they're the two most successful.
Yeah. I think Diablo 3 is they're still raking in tons of money. Like all the ports and it's on the Switch, it's big on the Switch and stuff. And
I feel like it's a constant presence.
it is, yeah. It's still really satisfying if you're remotely interested in the RPGs, and if you pick up Diablo 3 on the Switch and you haven't played it, it just feels great to play.
Good, yeah. It's like the essential one.
It really is, yeah.
Whereas you can't say that with many genres. No. You can't say like, you know, if I was to get one RPG, what would I get? If you ask 10 different people, you'd get 10 different answers.
Exactly.
But I think with ARPGs, you'd probably get 7 people say Diablo, 2 people say Path of Exile, and 1 would say, I don't know, any of the other ones.
Yeah.
So I really can't get into the genre. I really can't at all. I've been playing Chaos Bane.
I just feel like it would be a thing, sort of. But
I know. Do you know what? I don't know. Do you know what the best ARPG I ever played was? Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And
from like PS2 era sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, it was. I played it on the original Xbox actually, and yeah, that's like the closest I got to. But I actually thought it was going to be a proper Baldur's Gate, and actually hated it for the first like 5 hours. But then when I got over myself, I quite enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? Actually, I used to play something called Sacred. Is that an ARPG?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. That. Sacred 2. Got that on the Xbox
that was on
360.
360, wasn't it?
Yeah. I wonder, is there a Sacred 3? Did they ever make a
there was, yeah.
Oh, right.
I got it on PC for some reason. Got it on my Steam library.
I wonder
no idea how. Didn't buy it. Don't know how I got it.
Maybe like a bundle thing.
Yeah, possibly, bundle. Okay, so, I've actually got a question for you before we move on to the new releases. What do you reckon, what wasn't there? What was missing? What stood out as like a missing thing from E3? I'm going to tell you what mine is, all right? 2 really. It's one of them might be yours, so I'm not going to steal that one.
No,
Beyond Good and Evil.
Yes,
that was a big one.
I really wanted to see something else, and I am looking forward to that. And I'm not looking forward to a massive amount of games at the moment, but that was one of them. And I wanted to see some stuff, anything, literally anything.
When I found out that Microsoft and Bethesda was on the Sunday, which was my birthday, so I was out for that. Like me and Dan, because we do E3 every year, we were like, oh, so it's only the Ubisoft conference on Monday. I guess we'll watch it. But then the PC Gamer show actually turned out to be fucking good, you know?
Yeah.
They had some really good stuff there. But yeah, so sitting at the Ubisoft thing, and I'd seen on Twitter someone had leaked the whole Ubisoft conference before it happened, and they were like spot on. And then Dan was like, I'm really looking forward to Ubisoft. We can finally see more Beyond Good and Evil. And I was like, apparently it's not there. And he was like, why would it not be there? And
it's pretty mad. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it, and the original is good. Like, it was a really good thing. But like, if this was a new IP and they were just showing this off for the first time, and I was being introduced to this world, I'd still be like bang up for it. I think it isn't just because I enjoyed the original that I'm excited.
No,
for
it
this.
really does look good. It seems to. What's weird is it seems to be exciting people who are into completely different things. It's not strictly a sci-fi thing. Is it a cyberpunk thing? Steampunk? What, like, yeah.
Yeah, but it
crosses a lot.
It's that weird, specific type of French sci-fi, like Fifth Element and stuff like that.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's got like a it's quite a nice appeal, I think.
Yeah,
It's got potential.
and then the scale of it is really intriguing, and then the way that they're generating all these different ship designs and all that,
almost a Star Citizen.
so nice. Yeah, like the art thing that they had. Do you remember that like news story about the way they were generating art for the to fill the world?
Who was at the helm of that? The guy
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That's it. Yeah,
Exactly. Cool. Like nice stuff, right? But yeah, I really wanted to see that, and we didn't. So that was the big omission for me. But what about you guys?
I've got another Ubisoft one.
Go on.
Splinter Cell.
Yeah, I was
We
going
did
to
get
say Splinter Cell. Yeah,
and it seemed to be a sure thing for some reason this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Because there was a lot of rumouring, a
it's
lot of
because of
murmuring
the
about
dick
it.
had Ubisoft joking about. I
Yeah,
say dickhead because he tricked everybody.
He went out for
Right.
drinks with friends and he was like, "We're working on Splinter Cell."
Yeah, and he
changed,
tweeted saying working on Splinter Cell.
changed his like Twitter banner to the goggles and everything.
Yeah, and
Right.
then he was like saying, "No, I'm drunk. How do I delete a tweet?" And then
Yeah.
he was showing
he was just trolling.
his messages from people saying delete this. But he was like
it was
saying,
like a coordinated.
yeah,
Sure.
Right.
troll
Okay.
Yeah.
basically, and that's why I called him dickhead because they mean that, isn't it?
I thought you were saying like yeah.
That was
I thought you were saying something
disappointing.
else, so that's what your pick is as well.
Possibly. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Every year, I'm just hankering for that fucking Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah.
Nah. We all know the real big one, mate. It's Fable, isn't
Thank fuck that you said that.
It's
I didn't
Fable.
want to put that on you,
Yeah.
but
It's Fable. Do you know what? That's another one. Like everyone
Yeah.
was murmuring. Like everyone's talking about it like it's a dead
it feels right.
And
doesn't
do you know what? Right, and I know everyone's buzzing about this, apart from fucking me. It seems, yeah. That Playground Games came on, yeah. Who were the big guys that's supposed to be doing it? Bear in mind that's not confirmed. But it's all but confirmed that Playground Games are making Fable. So they come on stage and then they show off this fucking Lego Forza shit.
Which was class.
Everyone
It
was
was.
buzzing about that. I couldn't give a
Have you
fuck
played
about
Forza?
that.
Neither can I. I'm not going to buy it, but it was a good.
No, but everyone was
Have
like,
you played Forza Horizon?
no,
Give
I've
it
got
a go,
no.
you know,
I played
it's-
Forza
it's
like
really
3
fun.
on the Xbox 360. and it's
Horizon's
just-
much better than the main series.
No, and Lego doesn't
Driving
get me
is something
either.
that I have to do to get to my job, and I hate it. So I don't. It's not
I
like.
don't think anyone likes having to drive.
Yeah, apart from Jeremy Clarkson.
Why do they buy games about
Yeah.
it then? It's
'Cause
traveling
you-
from A to B is not
You
interesting.
don't
to
have
me.
to fear about someone missing
Yeah.
a sign and
Crash
plowing
into as many
the
people
side
as you
of
want,
you
innit?
in Forza.
But it's like
You
this.
do in real life.
Yeah.
You can be.
But the Lego thing, I thought was cool. I like the
It
Lego.
was
thing.
cool.
Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like
I
these
might give it a go.
cross-brand things, do I? Like whenever they happen, I'm like, oh, that's it.
I
Did you
think-
see what we did last time? They did Hot Wheels.
Oh,
That's it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I mean. I'm like, why the fuck was Terminator and everything? Fuck off. What was he in 2 things at once? I don't care.
Ghost Recon, Gears.
What? It's just stupid to me, right? But Fable was a big omission.
Yeah.
The fact that Playground Games were even there. Imagine it wasn't wasn't even Playground making it now. That'd be funny. But yeah, I felt like that was a big omission. And yeah, every year Splinter Cell could be done, and it's so easy. All you'd have to do is obviously just cut all the fucking lights off, and then on the big green screen, on the big screen, have the 3 green lights appear.
Yeah.
How good would that be for a reveal? If Ubisoft's conference ended with the whole thing going dark and then just going,
It's
and make
giant Sam
and-
Fisher.
and then-
He's gonna kill us all
He's
with
been
his leg
bulking for
split.
7 years. But that's like, and that specific sound, boom.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to do. They wouldn't even need to do it. And then just say Splinter Cell, because that's what it would be called, by the way. Almost 100%
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
be Splinter Cell
Yeah.
2020. But I don't know. Skull and Bones was a weird omission as well, because they've been
Yeah,
bumping about this. for
Pirate game
years.
from Ubisoft.
been delaying that a lot.
I think people are really going to be losing interest at this point. Pirates
Yeah.
were hot back then. They're not.
They're not so hot, are they? You mentioned quickly there. You mentioned that possibly Playground Games aren't making. It could be that they're not
I
actually
don't
making
even know
Fable
where the
anymore.
rumor comes
No,
from.
but it's for me. It's Microsoft does do that so much. They did it with Crackdown. It's about fucking 5 different studios working on Crackdown 3 by the end.
Exactly.
They do like to kick their IPs around to like teams who they think would be more appropriate to it. So who knows, But yeah, Fable was a big one for me as well. All in all, though, I thought it was pretty quiet, and I fully expect next year to be big console reveals, big new IPs like next gen. Launch title reveals and stuff like that. That's what I think is going to be.
Yeah, Gamescom, which is like E3 in Europe, for those Americans that don't know, I think it actually is bigger than E3 in terms
Yeah.
of footfall and stuff. This is the year that they're announcing their version of E3, and the big rumor is that Sony's going to be there because it's closer to Christmas, so it'll be better to drive sales and stuff like that. And Jeff Keighley, who does the Video Game Awards, which has in itself become a big platform for games to be announced.
Yeah.
They showed off like Joseph Fares stuff there. He's doing I think it's for 2 days or for 3 days, showing off games each day there at Gamescom and giving people conference spaces. So with that in mind,
and you add in the directs, you add in Nintendo Direct, and the fact that Xbox has got their own one,
State of
Sony's
Play,
got their own
Paris
one.
Games
It's just diluted,
Week.
isn't it? It's just diluted. That's probably referring back to the email we had earlier from who was it, George?
Mr. Guy that lives in Preston.
Yeah, George Henderson, who's saying,
Yeah.
you know, he's maybe he feels like he's getting a bit cynical, but I think with just the state of the industry has changed a little bit. It's not like
Yeah,
this
exactly.
big. It still is a focal point, but it's not like
There's like a big announcement
The
every
only
like
one.
2 weeks or something.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
exactly.
think that Gamescom might be a source of news. I think that we'll probably see something like The Last
Yeah.
of Us there, for example.
yeah.
But yeah, overall, I as much as I want to be excited about it, and you know, all in favour, you know, I've got to say, yeah, you're right. It was quite quiet. It did feel like a bridge year, you know.
But not for them because there was about
No.
25 JRPGs. wasn't
I
there?
thought it was a solid year.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
it was
Like I was impressed.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
There you go. That's 3 different perspectives. Let's do some new releases before we wrap up then.
Oh
so
shit, that's happening. Yeah.
June the 18th, that's the Tuesday. New games coming out in the next week. We've got Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, which is coming out on PC, PS4, and
Yeah.
Xbox One. Yeah, that's June the 18th. So, are you guys looking forward to this?
I'll see how it reviews first, but
Yeah.
I might give it a go because I like Castlevania, especially the Metroid-style Castlevania ones.
Yeah.
And this is from the guy who popularised that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was
it's
kind of looking.
interesting to see.
I was looking forward to it initially, but somehow I've just sort of lost momentum a little bit.
Yeah,
So
same
it's-
actually. But I can pinpoint why specifically because I saw this other game and it completely. And that shit meme of a guy looking behind his shoulder at a girl. It was that, but with this game called Blasphemous. Did you see that? Look at
Yeah.
that. It looks
ringing a
It's like a
bell.
metal album.
well good. Yeah. Woo! And that's out soon. So that's. I'm saving myself for that because those
Yeah.
types of games, like there's a lot of them, isn't there? And like Hollow Knight was one. I know this is like a huge homage to Castlevania, but yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm saving myself for Blasphemous. I mean, so I'm gonna-
We also got on the Thursday, My Friend Pedro.
This one I
coming
will
to
play.
PC and the Switch.
This has got a bit of like a buzz about it.
It has.
What is this, Liam?
It's a side-scrolling shooter, but with a big focus on bullet time. It's,
Lots of flips, isn't there?
lots of flips. There's a talking banana. for some
Liam's
reason.
flips.
Yeah, little throwback to earlier in the week.
And yeah, what is it? It's been published by Devolver, and so you know it's kind of got their weird brand of humor in it.
Yeah.
And it's been in development for a while.
It
It
has.
was originally a Flash game, like
Yeah.
on Newgrounds or something. But yeah, it looks really good. It's like it's not often we get like these weird bullet time shooters
Yeah.
anymore
No.
since Max Payne, but I'm looking forward to it, and I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I liked Katana Zero, and I wasn't expecting to like that as much, and it kind of
Good
feels
soundtrack to that, by the way. I listened to that.
Oh
on
yeah,
Spotify.
very
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
I think that's going to be like quite similar in the sense that it's going to be like a lot of reruns and doing
Yeah.
stuff and
Yeah.
bullet time and that. I'll pick this up if it gets good reviews, but it's one that I've seen all the hype about. Seen that banana mascot logo all the time, but I'll wait to see what Liam says. Liam Sensei, and then if he likes it, I'll get it.
Also, Yakuza 5. Is that coming out this week? June 20th?
In Japan,
In Japan,
Yeah.
right. I thought there was a bit of a question mark on that one.
Yeah, I was
on
like-
PS4.
no
Thank God for
word
Liam.
on whether those remasters are actually coming west yet.
Yeah.
And then on the Friday is a big one for me. I think I'm looking forward to this one. Crash Team Racing is coming
Yeah.
to Switch, PS4.
is
and
that this
Xbox
week?
One.
Yeah.
That's this week, yeah.
I'm gonna get that.
I think I'm going to get it as
I
well.
love a good kart racer.
Yeah. I haven't, but so do I. But I haven't played Mario Kart 8 yet.
That's
for
like
this-
the best.
That's like that's
Yeah.
the standard now.
And I haven't played that, and I haven't. I think I tried one before, and it was like not very good.
Is it Nickelodeon kart racers?
No,
by
that
any
was
chance?
shit. That was proper crap. But no, I tried something. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I wasn't that into it. But then this one,
You know what you're getting. It's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
Team Sonic
Yeah.
Racing.
and you got the
like-
pure. There's like at least 20
remake.
quid's worth of nostalgia in that price.
It's a remake
So-
of a game that's already been out. So
Yeah.
you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One of Sean's favourite games ever this year, so
All right.
it's probably going to get bought for the house, and I'll probably have a
Yeah,
nice time
same.
playing it. But I can't remember having like a massively fun time with it.
I played a
back then.
demo of it loads. I had the demo, and I played
yeah.
that shit loads. So I played like one track for like 2
Yeah.
years, and then I got the full.
Yeah, I,
and then I got the
I
full
only
game.
had the demo of this game called Speed Freaks. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the name, but I can't remember what.
Well, weirdly, in Sean's mum and dad's house, they're like 50 plus. They got a PS1 set up, and Sean, like, I walked in one day, and Sean's also was playing Speed Freaks. Yeah, the four games, just trying to beat his high score. And I'm thinking, this is familiar, and it's because I played the demo loads. So I don't know. I just
I
wanted
mean,
to see if anyone else remembers Speed Freaks. We can maybe get a support group going.
nothing. We can keep talking for another 2 hours, and nothing as good as that is going to come out, is it? So let's end it there. Speed Freaks. Thank you everyone for listening and for watching. Remember, if you're a patron, you can check out our bonus podcast. We're about to record another one after a little coffee break, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So there should be another bonus podcast on the way next week if you're a patron, no matter how much you support. So check that out on our Patreon feed. Thanks everyone for watching once again, and we'll see you very soon. See you later.